All right, hey guys, Jason here. We are back up here. We are at Franklin Toyota. You guys see me up here all the time. There's a Chevy dealer right across the street too. And what we were talking about today, Kent Toyota's new models. We got the new Tundra, we got the new Tacomas, and we have the new 4Runner. Can they actually off-road? Can they off-road anymore? Because they could before, could they still? How is Toyota's off-road ability with these new models in comparison to their old ones? Did anything major change in there? And they have. There are some things that we need to take into consideration. Short answer, yes, they can. Other part of that short answer, they're very frustrating to do it. But let's talk about it for a second. So here's a Sport. See the Sport, the Tacoma Sport, color match fenders, street tires, designed more for sport tune suspension. It's got the fake hood scoop on it. This TRD Sport, although you can get it off-road, or in a four-wheel drive version, is more of your on-road kind of a truck. Now, if we go down here and we look at the rest of these, let's skip right past this Trail Hunter, which is a very, we reviewed this, very off-road worthy 4Runner right here. We just reviewed that whole thing right there just about a week ago, but we got another TRD Sport, tuned for the road. Here's just a standard XP edition SR5, nice setup on it, but see this right here, for example, this is based on an SR5 kind of model. They'll even show it on here, it's an SR. Okay, and it's priced pretty good because it is an SR, and but this is 4x4, but this will have none of your off-road goodies in here. You're not getting a rear locker. It's four-wheel drive, but no rear locker. Because it is an SR, not even an SR5, you still get a leaf spring style suspension, rather than when you look here where you get the coil suspension on the rear on this one here. So again, Toyota's got some variations they do, and they do play a couple of weird games. Now here's another XP. This one here, this XP looks like it is based on this is based on another SR. That's interesting. Another SR XP. Pretty cool to see that. I like seeing a package like that upgrade on their lower trim. It gives it a lot of punch and character. But here's where the magic happens for Toyota. If you are looking to buy a Tacoma and you want an off-road version, this is what you buy. Now these tires are not standard on this. When we look at the window sticker, we will see an upcharge of probably $1,400 if it's like the other ones for this Nitto Ridge Grappler. These are put on by Toyota's Southeast Toyota distributors are the ones that are putting them on here. That is not the stock tire that is going to come on a TRD Off-Road. But this one's also an iForce Max version. But what you get here, when you get into the TRD Off-Road package, you're going to gain some things. You're going to gain crawl control. You're going to gain MTS, which is multi-terrain select. And you're going to get the electronic rear locker, and some of these might even have an electronic sway bar disconnect. So yes, they actually off-road better than their previous ones did, with some variations. Okay, they do not have quite the off-road numbers, even though they say they do, but because of this rear suspension setup and things like that, they claim better ground clearance, but it's not necessarily true. They went to running ground clearance, so it's a little bit different of a scenario there, kind of things that you got to take into consideration, but it does a fantastic job. You will have to remove the chin spoiler. They put on these things on the TRD Off-Roads, but they are quick and easy to remove. However, this is the trim that you're going to want to get. You get the off-road, you get the hard plastic, non-color match. These are what you want. They're going to get stone chips, they're going to get beat up, they're going to get scratched up by brush. This is what you want. Simple, cheap, and easy to replace. This has very good tires on it. This has got the these are optional ARB recovery points in the back. Very, very nice. I wish they would make some of those that stuck out for the front of the Tacoma. One of its downfalls is where they put the front toe recovery points, but see right here, Nitto's right there, $1,595 upgrade for those tires on here. This is coming in at $58,000. It is also, though, it is the hybrid. It has the iForce Max hybrid engine in it, but this has got a lot of features inside of here in the off-road world. Now, they've also made some changes to the geometry of this vehicle for this year, for 2024 and 5, which is nice because now this one is coming with 32 or 33 inch tires depending on the options that you're getting on here. And that's the biggest they offer stock is up to a 33 on the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter. But you can get you can fit up to a 35 on these in the wheel wells now. Where to go anything bigger than a 33, on the last generation, you had to do a body frame chop and do some serious welding and stuff to get it done. Now you also have full piggyback reservoir suspension from Bilstein on here, which is a nice addition too. So they've done a very good job with this truck. There's no doubt about it. We'll talk about the off-road capability of all of these in a minute, but this is where they've done well. Again, the tow hooks on the front, they kind of suck. Okay, those tow hooks are buried way back under there after all this. So if you had your nose down in the mud and somebody had to recover this, they're going to break all this stuff up. Okay, the tow hook location is not good. But in these aftermarket, we'll see what they charge for that, but this is an aftermarket. These orange ones on the back, they can be added on by ARB to any one of these, and you don't have to buy them from Tacoma. You can buy them straight from ARB and bolt them right onto any one of these. So that's very easy to do. What do they charge you here? I'll bet it's cheaper if you go right through ARB. But on here, they are charging you, ARB, they're charging you $459. I'll bet they're probably $100 cheaper to buy those right from ARB themselves, and you can bolt them right on. That's simple. So very easy to do. But the Tacoma, I do believe, has gained some nice features with the more articulation. It went to a full box frame, which means it's a little bit stiffer, so you get less flex in the body, which kind of benefited the last gen, but you get the stabilizer disconnect and the fact that you can put 35s, 33s, 34s, or 35s on it, and you're not going to have to do any major modification to do it is a nice factor on here. We'll talk about the four-wheel drive system itself in a minute. Now, when we come over to the Tundra suffers severely still. Okay, notice something on every single Tundra here. 0 front tow hooks. Now, they do sell a kit now available, finally, 3 years into its production date. They do sell a kit. However, that kit requires a lot of effort to actually mount and put on, and it's pretty expensive, and it's a pain in the butt. But you can, but it is exhausting. But here we have the same trim, okay? We have a TRD Off-Road. Look at that. Beautiful TRD Off-Road trim. Now, we also look at the tires they put on this. This is where it gets kind of funny. Look at the tires they put on a TRD Off-Road, okay, comparatively. Now, this does come with a rear locker. It will have the MTS and crawl control. It'll have the features in there, the things you want. What it will not have, well, the window sticker is upside down, so we cannot see it. It is falling off. But it is going to give you those nice options in there, which is a good thing. We have no tow hooks on the front, though, whatsoever, so that's something we got to consider. The 4Runner, when we look at the 4Runner over here, and the Land Cruiser, both very good. The Land Cruiser is a completely separate four-wheel drive system, all-time four-wheel high, where you can actually lock the center diff and the rear locker. You do not get a front in any Toyota. There is no such thing as a front locker on a Toyota in the United States here that we get, so we don't get that luxury. However, here, you can see we got the 33-inch tires. This is a Trail Hunter. We're going to get the sway bar disconnect. We're going to get the MTS. We're going to get the crawl control. We're going to get the rear locker. We're going to get all those features on here. Again, same with the 4Runner or the Tacoma. Tow hooks buried way up there in the front. Definitely kind of a bummer. But you're getting a nice feature. Now, as far as the off-road ability of the system, okay, the off-road system, but again, also on this, very easy to put bigger tires on it compared to the last gen, where the biggest you could go is a 33 without massive changes to the geometry, chopping frames, re-welding frames, things of that nature. Now they've let it where you can do that, so you get those options. Toyota is one of only 2 companies left in the world, and that's available in the US, that plays these stupid games with the lockers. Okay, Toyota and Nissan are the only 2 that will make it where you have to go into 4-low to use your rear locker. That is upsetting. That is very disappointing that we have to do that. So that is a bummer. However, well, let's stay on the bummers. Okay, that is a bummer that you have to go into 4-low to use your rear locker. Okay, that's just a shame. Ford, Chevy, Ram, Jeep, every one of them let you use your rear locker in 4 high, many even in 2 high. Toyota does not let you do that. Neither does Nissan. Both Japanese. Interesting when you think about it. The other downside to it is it is very difficult to engage the rear locker on these. See, with most any other vehicle, you could actually wait till you got in trouble, and when you're in trouble, put it in 4-low and engage your rear locker and then get yourself out of it. With a Toyota, that is almost, that's going to happen. You'll be able to pull that off like 10% of the time. The other 90% of the time, you will not get 4-low to engage, and you may not, and then even if you did, your odds of getting the locker to engage when you are in a hole, off camber, tilted, rolling, anything that's other than being on flat ground, trying to get it to engage is near impossible. And yes, it is still like that in this new one. Okay, I've watched many videos that show the exact same thing, and it was like that in my 22, and it is a major downfall to this. However, with that said, as always, Toyota has one of the best computer-controlled, algorithmically controlled brake torque transfer traction control systems. Okay, what that means is that if it senses this wheel starts to slip in an open differential, which is what it is on the front, but where this wheel would start to slip, and that would be all the torque that it gets, the other one dies. Toyota realizes that, and they apply the brake to this wheel, which then tightens this wheel up, makes it harder for this one to spin, transferring the same amount of torque to the other one, and giving more power, obviously, to the wheel that could use the traction. And two companies do that better than anybody. One of them is Jeep, the other one is Toyota. Both of them crush it. They do fantastic at it. That is the reason that Toyotas still do good off-road today in many situations, and why people love them. It is that amazing computer-controlled system. The downside to it, you usually got to be in 4-low, and you're going to want to kick it, and then they make you go through MTS, multi-terrain select stuff, or using crawl control, or things like that. It's not old school raw power where you just hit engage the front locker, the rear locker like on a Jeep, and you just blow your way through it. It's not Toyota's world. They're more controlled. They want to be in control. They want to control what the truck does through the truck's algorithm, so it's a little different, but they are still very good. In reality, I do believe that the new versions are just as, if not a little bit more off-road capable than the old ones were, because of the fact that we can now get a bigger tire without as much work on it. It makes it a lot simpler. I do like the coil spring rear suspension. I do like the high clearance rear bumpers. I do like the fact that we can easily and affordably put tow recovery points on the back. Some people will be like, well, you don't need those. You got a hitch right here. Put a hitch plug in it. That may be fine, but if I'm sticking my winch in there and I want to do a double pull, it's nice to have another recovery point like I do on my Jeep, where I can run that out, hook it to a snatch block, and come back and hook back to my Jeep and pull myself out. Not many vehicles today. I can't think of any other truck that you can today other than a Jeep, and now you can do that with a Tacoma, because you can buy the extra points. And if they're sold individually for $100 or $120 a piece, just buy one. So all you need is one. You don't need two. But by having that hitch and having one of them, that's worth its weight in gold. So I think Toyota's done a fantastic job with their off-roaders. I do wish they did a better job with their off-road system. It is 2025. There's no reason to lock us out of all the amenities until we're in 4-low. Many off-road situations today, you want to use that stuff in 4-high. There will be people in the comments below that will tell me I'm full of crap and don't know anything about off-roading. That's not true. They don't know what they're talking about. Trust me on that. There's plenty of situations where you do not need to be in 4-low and want to. And I've talked about them in many other videos, and it's not worth my time to explain it to them. Just know the reality is Toyota does a good job, but their system could be better. Let me put it to you this way. The number one reason I sold my 2022 Tacoma was because of how annoying the 4-wheel drive system is. And it's still the same system today. If you can handle the annoyances of it, it's still a pretty good system. So questions, comments, anything you got, put them down below. As always, thanks for watching.